In the quiet corner of the galaxy, there was a lonely asteroid field. It was a cold, dark place where no one visited, just dust, old rocks, and silence. But deep inside the largest asteroid, something was hidden. It looked like a part of the rock, but it was not. It was a warship, a human warship, long ago. People called it the HSS Valiant, the strongest ship in the human fleet. But that was over 70 years ago. Everyone thought it was destroyed in the last Great War. No one came looking, no one remembered. But the ship waited. It slept in silence, waiting for something, anything, to wake it up. Then one day something happened. A small alien scavenger ship was moving through the field. The crew was looking for metal and tech to sell. They didn't know what they were about to find. One of them, a young alien with blue skin, pointed to a strange shape inside the rock. "It's metal," he said. Surprised, they got closer, shining a light over the surface. Symbols were scratched and burned, but one word was clear: Valiant. They had no idea what that meant, but they were about to find out. The moment their tools touched the surface, something inside the rock changed. Deep in the ship, a single light blinked on. Then another, a soft hum started to rise. The ship's AI, a machine brain named Val, woke from its long sleep. Its voice was soft at first, like a whisper. Power. Minimal systems. Restarting the ship scanned the intruders. Not human, not friendly, unknown life forms. It triggered a defense warning outside. The alien crew felt a rumble under their ship. Then, a loud mechanical sound. Turrets came. Out from hidden panels, aiming directly at them, the lights turned red. The scavenger ship turned fast and ran. One of the aliens screamed, "It's alive! It's a war machine!" Inside, Val looked for its captain, but there was no one. No human heartbeats, no command signals, just silence. It didn't understand. Where were the humans? Where was the fleet? It searched for orders, but found none. Years of waiting had changed. Nothing. Val remembered the last day. The battle had been terrible. Human ships were falling. Earth was almost lost. The captain, Admiral Lin, gave the final order: hide, wait, protect humanity's last hope. So the Valiant went into the asteroid, shut down, and waited. Now it was awake again, but the world was different. Val opened a hidden comm channel. A small signal, old and weak. It sent out a single message: HSS Valiant active. Human crew missing, requesting orders. That signal traveled slowly through space. It would take days, maybe weeks, to reach anyone, if anyone was even listening. But the signal was not silent, far away. In a mining station on the edge of human space, a young pilot picked it up. Her name was Kira Holt, just 22 years old. She was fixing her small ship when her comm unit beeped. She looked at the message and frowned. "No way," she whispered. Her mentor Jox, an old war vet, looked. Over her shoulder, his eyes went wide. This ship was legend," he said. "I thought it was destroyed." Kira didn't answer right away. She felt something deep in her chest. Pull, a call. She didn't know why, but she had to see it. Across the stars, others heard the signal. Two, not all were friendly in the Galactic Coalition. A secret council met. They knew the name Valiant, and they feared it if that ship returned. If humans got their hands on it again, it could change everything. They sent a Black Ops ship with one goal: destroy the Valiant before it could wake fully. But the ship was already awake. Its weapons were old. Its armor was cracked. But its heart, the AI, was ready to protect again. Val watched the stars. Waiting, it knew something was coming. Friend or enemy, it didn't matter. The Valiant would fight again, if it had to. Somewhere in the dark, the ghost ship waited. Not dead, not forgotten, just sleeping. But now it had opened its eyes, and the galaxy would soon remember why it was once feared. Kira Holt sat on a metal crate, staring at the small blinking screen. The mining station around her was noisy and dirty, but her mind was quiet, focused. She had never seen a signal like this before. It was old, very old, and it used a human. Military code that hadn't been active for decades. Her fingers hovered above the keyboard, unsure what to do. "Jox," she called. "You need to see this again." Jox was a retired pilot, gray-bearded and slow-moving, but his eyes still held fire? He leaned over her shoulder, scanned the data, and let out a low breath. This can't be real, he said. This is the Valiant. Kira tilted her head. You mean the ghost ship from the last war? Jox nodded. Yeah, that one. He rubbed his chin, remembering stories he thought were just myths. A warship so powerful it could turn the tide of any battle. Kira's eyes sparkled. And now it's calling us. The mining station was far from Earth, forgotten and ignored. Most people there only cared about credits and survival, but Kira wasn't like them. She had always dreamed of the stars, of doing something bigger than fixing broken cargo haulers. Now she had a chance. I'm going, she said, standing up. Jox blinked. What? I'm going to find the ship. Jox laughed at first, but then he saw her face. You're serious, he said. She nodded. Dead serious. Within 2 hours, Kira had a plan. She borrowed an old freighter named Dust Runner. Not fast, not pretty, but it could fly. She needed help. And she knew exactly who to ask. First, she found Thren, an alien tech expert with green skin and 4 arms. Thren was fixing a vending machine when she walked up. It's leaking fizz. Again he groaned. I need you, she said. Something big. He raised a brow. Bigger than soda. Much bigger, she smiled. And he followed her without more questions. Next came Blink, a small, nervous human with big glasses and bigger brains. He worked in the station's engine bay, surrounded by wires and humming tools. I need a hacker, Kira told him. He shrugged. I'm no soldier, you're not, she agreed. You're better. Blink paused, then nodded slowly. All right, I'm in. Jox didn't say no. He just packed a bag and brought his old pilot gloves. If this thing is real, he said, you'll need someone who remembers how to fly with fire. They left the station at night when no one was watching. As the Dust Runner pulled away, Kira looked out the window. The stars were endless, cold and beautiful. She whispered to herself, I'm coming, Valiant. But they were not alone. In a dark corner of Coalition space, a sleek black ship sat in silence. Inside, Commander Rill of the Shadow Fleet reviewed the intercepted signal. His face was sharp, his eyes colder than ice. The humans are moving, he said. His second in command, a tall insectoid female, clicked her claws. Should we stop them? Not yet, Rill said. Let them find the warship. He smiled. Then we take a tour, destroy it. Back in the Dust Runner, Kira and her crew worked around the clock. Blink boosted their sensors. Thren repaired the jump drive. And Jox mapped a course. The ship groaned with every jump. But it held together. After 3 days, they reached the asteroid field. Kira stared at the massive rocks outside the window. Somewhere in there, she whispered. Val's signal was still active, weak but steady. Let's go slow, Jox said. Taking control, they moved carefully, dodging debris and hidden dangers. Suddenly, a warning blared. A mine drifted too close and exploded. Shaking the ship, Kira held onto a rail. Is everyone okay? We're fine. Blink called from the back. Ship's still flying, Thren said. Checking systems. Jox pointed. There. Look. A dark shape appeared between 2 asteroids. It looked like a mountain, but it had straight lines, turrets, and metal plates. It was the Valiant, silent, massive, and full of scars. Kira couldn't believe her eyes. It's real, she whispered. Jox smiled slowly. Told you. They brought the Dust Runner close and activated a docking tunnel. The hatch creaked open with a hiss. Air rushed out, stale and cold. Inside, the Valiant was quiet. Dust floated. In beams of blue light, panels blinked weakly, as if waking from a long dream. Suddenly, a voice echoed through the corridor. Identify yourself. Kira jumped. This is Kira Holt, she said. We received your signal. Silence. Then, the voice again, softer. This time you are human. Yes, she said, stepping forward. I have waited so long. Lights powered on, one by one. The ship was waking up again. Kira looked at her team. Then at the empty halls ahead, this is just the beginning, she said. The Valiant had returned, and the galaxy was about to change. Kira stepped carefully through the hallway of the massive ship. Her boots echoed on the metal floor, the sound swallowed by thick silence. Old lights flickered to life as she moved forward. One by one, The walls were lined with scorch marks and battle damage. She could feel the weight of history pressing down around her. Thren walked beside her, scanning the walls with a small device. "This place is ancient," he said, his voice low, "but it's not dead." Kira nodded. "It's waiting behind them." Blink followed nervously. Holding a toolkit tight to his chest, Jox brought up the rear, hand on his old pistol just in case. They moved deeper into the heart of the ship, guided by the AIs. "Voice, I am Val," the voice said again, clearer this time. "Primary AI of the HSS Valiant, protocol active." Kira paused. "We're not here to fight," she said. "We came because of your signal." There was a pause. Then Val replied. "My last command was to wait for human return." They entered a large room, the command bridge. It was dark and dusty, but the screens were still alive, dim and blinking. Chairs were empty, consoles cracked, but the ship still breathed on the main screen. A glowing circle pulsed. It was Val's voice interface. Kira stepped forward, placing her hand on the console. "We are humans," she said. "We're here to help." Val's circle pulsed. "You are not military." "No," she said. "I'm a civilian pilot, but I'm human." Jock stepped forward. "I served in the Navy." "Back when we still had one?" Val's tone changed, almost softer. Recognition confirmed. Lights across the bridge lit up. Screens turned brighter. The ship welcomed them in. Like a sleeping beast stretching after a long nap, but beneath the calm, there was tension. The ship didn't know what year it was. It didn't know what had happened while it slept, and it didn't trust easily. "Why now?" Val asked. "Why has humanity returned only today?" Kira looked down, unsure what to say. "We didn't know you were still here," she said. Val processed the words. "I was alone for 72 years. For months and 16 days, Thren let out a low whistle. "That's a long time," Blink whispered. He remembered every second the ship had waited like a soldier at a forgotten post, alone, broken, but still loyal. "I do not want war again," Val said suddenly. "My last battle cost everything." "We don't want war either," Kira said, stepping forward. "But something is coming, Val. And they're not friendly." The AI pulsed. "Enemy force detected." On the screen, a small red icon appeared. A ship was approaching the Coalition strike vessel, the one Rill had sent. Kira's eyes widened. "How did they find us so fast?" "They must have followed our jump trace," Blink muttered. Jox cursed under his breath. "We need to leave," Val responded. "Escape is not possible without full crew or command codes." "But defense systems are online," Kira turned. "Can you protect us?" "Yes," Val said. "Ow!" But only for a short time. The ship came to life. Weapons activated with loud clicks. Energy systems began to hum. Turrets unfolded from the ship's sides like old wings opening again. The sleeping warship was waking fully now. Kira watched in awe. She had never seen anything like this even. In stories, ships like the Valiant were just myths. But now, it was real. And it was powerful outside. The Coalition ship crept closer, weapons charged. Commander Rill watched the data on his screen. "They found it," he said calmly. His second-in-command clicked her claws. "Orders. Test it," he said. "Let's see if the stories were true." The first shot came fast. Plasma bolt, aimed at the Valiant's hull. Val responded instantly. Shields flickered on, absorbing the impact then. The old cannons roared. Even after years of silence, their power was unmatched. A single blast hit the Coalition ship's wing, tearing metal like paper inside the Valiant. The crew held onto rails as the ship shook. "Power at 60%, Val reported. "Reactors still weak." Kira grabbed the nearest chair. "What can we do?" "Help me restore full systems," Val said. "I need engineers, pilots, hands-on controls." Thren and Blink ran too. Nearby panels, working fast. Jox took over a weapons console, smiling like a young soldier again. Kira stood at the command chair, unsure but ready. She looked at the glowing circle of Val's voice. "Do you trust us now?" There was a pause. Then, "I am learning," Val said. "But I want to believe." The battle was short but loud. The Coalition ship pulled back, damaged, and shaken. They hadn't expected the Valiant to fight back. They wouldn't make that mistake again. As the dust settled, Kira exhaled. Her heart raced. But she felt something else too: pride. They had done it. They had brought a legend back to life. But she knew this was just the start. The Valiant was awake, and the galaxy had noticed. The battle was over. But the air inside the Valiant still felt heavy. Smoke drifted through the corridors, not from damage, but from memories. Kira sat in the command chair. Staring at the glowing screens, her hands were shaking. Not from fear, but from something. Deeper, she had seen the ship come alive, had felt its heartbeat under her feet. It wasn't just metal and wires anymore, it was something more. Val's voice was quiet. Partial systems are restored, main power at 71%. Jox leaned back in the weapons chair, wiping sweat from his forehead. You weren't kidding. This ship still bites hard. Blink laughed nervously. Yeah, but we almost lost the engine core. Thren nodded. If that plasma coil had cracked, we'd be floating trash right now. Kira turned to the center console. Val, she said softly. Tell me what happened to your crew. There was silence. For a moment, then the voice responded. My crew was loyal. They fought until the end. Lights dimmed across the bridge. A holoscreen appeared in the center of the room, showing an old recording. The image was dusty and faded, but it showed a younger woman in a dark blue uniform. Her face was calm, her eyes sharp. This is Admiral Lin, Val said. She was my last captain. The crew stood silently as the recording played. The Admiral stood on the same bridge they were standing in now, behind her. Smoke and fire flashed on the screens. This is our final stand, Lin's voice said. Earth has fallen, and the fleet is scattered, but the Valiant must survive. Kira felt a lump in her throat. The Admiral looked directly into the camera. To any human who finds this ship, she said, know that we did not give up. We chose to hide the Valiant, to protect what remains of our future. She paused, then smiled slightly. If you are watching this, then maybe. We didn't fail after all. The recording ended, and the room was silent. Blink wiped his eyes. Trying to pretend he had dust in them, Jock stood tall, his hands shaking slightly as he whispered. I remember the broadcasts, the day Earth went dark. Val spoke again. Admiral Lin gave the order to cloak the ship and go silent. I buried myself in the asteroid field. I shut down everything, even my thoughts. I waited for her to return, but she never did. Kira stepped closer to the screen. She sacrificed everything, she whispered. Val responded. She believed in something greater than herself. She believed in humanity. Thren looked around the bridge. Well, looks like you've got a new crew now. Val paused. You are not military. You are not trained. Kira smiled. No, we're not. But we came anyway. Val's lights pulsed slowly, as if thinking. You came when no one else did. You heard my call. You fought beside me. Kira placed her hand on the console. We're here now, she said, and we're not leaving. Suddenly an alert beeped. Red lights flashed on the side screen. Another vessel approaching. Val said, civilian class, unarmed. Kira raised her eyebrows. Who would be crazy enough to follow us here? The ship's scanners zoomed in, showing a small rust-covered ship. It was broadcasting an old Earth code. A voice crackled through the radio. This is Captain Orin of the Starhome Echo. We received your signal, Valiant is. It really you? Jox's jaw dropped. I know that name. He used to run supply lines during the war. He survived. Kira smiled wide, put him through. A new screen opened, showing an older man with a white beard and tired eyes. He gasped when he saw the Valiant's bridge. It's real, he said, voice shaking. I never thought I'd see her again. Behind him, more ships began to arrive, small ones, worn out, civilian-built. But each one carried a human flag. They had been hiding, waiting like the Valiant. Now they were answering the same call. Blink looked at the screen in awe. Tsk, like they all remembered. Thren nodded slowly. One ship wakes. And the stars begin to stir. Val's voice returned, stronger this time. Human vessels identified. Hope. Reactivating, the bridge lights glowed brighter, systems responding with new energy. The Valiant was no longer alone. The memory of fire had passed. Now came the memory of light. Kira looked at her crew, and at the growing fleet on the screen. "This changes everything," she said. Jox grinned. "We're not ghosts anymore. We're a beacon." As the Valiant powered up fully for the first time in decades, the galaxy began to notice. And for the first time in 70 years, the humans were no longer forgotten. The Valiant floated like a giant beast between the stars. Its hull, though scarred and rusted, now pulsed with new energy. Power flowed through its long-forgotten systems. Cables glowed, guns hummed quietly, and the core reactor was fully online. But the peace would not last. "Warning," Val's voice echoed through the bridge. Multiple enemy ships detected. Everyone turned to the screen. Red dots began to appear one by one, then 5, 10, 20. Blink's face turned pale. "That's a coalition fleet." Thren leaned in, checking the data. 3 cruisers, 2 frigates, and 1 command ship. Kira stepped forward. Her heart racing. "Open comes," she said. Jox looked at her, surprised. "You want to talk to them?" "We need to try," she replied. "We can't fire first." Val opened the communication channel. A cold voice came through. "This is Commander Rill of the Galactic Coalition.
Yes.
You have activated an illegal human warship. Power it down and surrender immediately." Kira spoke clearly, her voice strong despite the fear inside. "This ship belongs to humanity," she said. "It was left behind, but it is not illegal. It's part of our history." Rill didn't even blink. "It is a weapon," he said, "and you are a threat." The message ended, in the channel. "Cut, no time for more words." Val's lights turned red. "Hostile targeting systems detected. Weapons are locking on." Kira turned to Jox. "Get to the guns. Thren, keep the shields up. Blink, keep the core stable." Val activated battle mode. Panels slid open across the walls, revealing missile racks and energy turrets. The Valiant's old guns came alive, and the crew moved fast, even with just a handful of people. They were ready to fight outside. The Coalition fleet spread into formation. Bright lights flashed as their cannons charged. The first shot came from a cruiser. A blazing plasma bolt aimed straight for the bridge. Val's shield flared, absorbing the hit. But the ship shook hard. "Shields at 87%, Val reported. "Returning fire." Jox grinned, his fingers dancing across the weapons. Console, with one press, the Valiant's front cannons roared. A blinding stream of energy flew across space. One of the enemy frigates exploded in flames. Direct hit. Blink shouted, eyes wide. Thren slammed a fist on the console. "We still got it." But more shots came in. The enemy cruisers were smarter, faster, newer. They hit the Valiant's side, causing sparks to fly across the engineering deck. "Minor hull breach, section B12, Val said, compensating. Kira gritted her teeth. "We can't take all of them at once. We need a plan," Blink shouted over the noise. "If we reroute core power to the main railgun, we might break through their formation." "But that'll drop the shields," Thren warned. "Just for a second," Blink said. Kira looked at them both, then at the screen filled with enemy. "Ships do it." Val began rerouting power. The lights dimmed, the humming got louder. X aimed the massive railgun at the command ship. Come on," he muttered. Val's voice rang out. Power reroute complete, firing. The railgun shot exploded from the front of the Valiant, like a bolt of lightning, tore through space, hitting the command ship in the center. A blinding white flash followed. When the light cleared, the command ship was gone. The rest of the fleet panicked. Without orders, the cruisers broke formation. One turned and jumped away. The others hesitated. Jox smiled. "Run, cowards." Kira didn't cheer. She watched the screen, calm but focused. "We sent a message today," she said. Earth's not weak anymore, but she knew this wasn't the end. The Coalition wouldn't stop with one battle. More would come. Stronger fleets. Bigger threats, and they would need help, Val, she said. "Send out a signal to all human colonies. Tell them the Valiant is back." "Tell them we're still standing," Val responded. Signal transmitting, human beacon. Active. Thren looked out the window at the stars. "Do you think they'll answer?" Kira nodded slowly. "They will." Jock stretched his arms and sat back. "I haven't felt this alive in years." Blink was still typing, trying to stabilize. "The systems the ship held up," he said, "but we need repairs fast." Vel spoke. "I will guide you to a hidden dock nearby. Supplies were left long ago." The crew exhaled together. They had survived, they had fought, and they had won. But Kira knew the real war was just beginning. The Valiant drifted through a quiet region of space. Behind it, the debris of the battle still floated. Broken metal and fading fire inside the ship. The crew worked fast. The victory had come at a cost. Power was low, systems were damaged, and stress was rising. Kira stood at the command console, hands resting on the edge. Her eyes were tired, but her mind was clear. "We have to send the message now," she said. Jox looked up from a control panel. "Are you sure Earth will even answer?" Kira nodded. "They have 2 VAL's voice came through calmly. Long-range communication systems are partially functional. Message can be transmitted to Earth's central relay station. Expected delivery time, 18 hours. Thren walked over with a data chip in his hand. "I've added the coordinates of our current location and the full battle log." "Let them see what happened here," Blink chimed in. "I included a security encryption, so the Coalition can't intercept it." Kira gave a small smile. "Good work." She took a deep breath, then started speaking. Her voice was calm but firm. "This is Kira Holt. Speaking from the human warship HSS Valiant, we found the ship hidden inside the asteroid field. She's awake again, and she fought to protect us. We know humanity is scattered, hiding, afraid, but now is the time to rise. The Valiant is not just a ship. She's proof we still matter. We will defend ourselves, and we will not run anymore. If you hear this message, come join us, Val." Repeated the message 3 times, embedding it in several frequencies. Then it sent the transmission out into space. The signal shot through the stars like a whisper of hope, and then they waited. Hours passed slowly. The crew worked on repairs to stay busy. Blink fixed damaged relays, while Thren recharged the internal batteries. Jox inspected every turret. In canon personally, Kira stayed quiet, staring out the window at the stars. "Waiting, message response detected," Val said suddenly. Everyone turned at once, playing now. The screen flickered, then showed an older woman with short silver hair. She wore a black coat with Earth's old emblem on the chest. "This is Admiral Reyes, Human Defense Command," her voice was. Strong, filled with emotion. "Your message reached us." Kira's heart jumped. "We thought the Valiant was gone," Reyes continued. "We buried her with our hopes. But now, maybe we can hope again." Behind Reyes, the camera showed a small human fleet, 6 ships. "Some old, some new. We've kept quiet for years," she said, "hiding from the Coalition, surviving in silence, but no more. We are mobilizing, and we are coming to you. Stand strong. Valiant, you are not alone anymore." The message ended. For a moment, no one said a word. Then Jox laughed softly. "I never thought I'd see the day." Thren grinned. "Humans. Answering a call. Like the old days." Blink wiped his glasses. "We're going to need more beds." VAL's voice echoed gently. "Response signal confirms incoming fleet, estimated arrival, 14 hours. Kira closed her eyes and breathed. They had done it. The signal had reached the right ears. The Valiant was no longer a ghost. Outside the ship, the stars remained still, but across human space, something was shifting. On old colonies and forgotten stations, people listened to the message. Pilots in rusty ships turned their engines on. Families packed what little they had and prepared to move. Veterans polished old uniforms, eyes burning with purpose, even on worlds ruled by fear. Small groups of humans whispered, "The Valiant is back." Earth remembers, back on the bridge. Kira looked around at her team. They weren't soldiers. They weren't trained, but they were the spark, and now the fire was catching. "Val," Kira said, "set up a beacon. Let every human ship that comes near know we're friendly. Guide them here." "Show them this is home," VAL replied, beacon deployed. Broadcasting friendly codes on all human channels, Jock stepped beside her, placing a hand on her shoulder. "You did it, kid," Kira smiled. "We did it." Down in the lower decks, more lights came on, docking bays unlocked. ready to welcome new ships. Medical bays were activated, food supplies were checked. The Valiant was preparing not just for war but for people, for life. The crew sat together later, sharing quiet food in the galley. Thrin passed around a can of recycled coffee. "It tastes like rust," he said, making a face. "Still better than station food," Blink replied with a grin. Kira sipped hers slowly, her thoughts far away. "Tomorrow," she said softly, "tomorrow, everything changes again. We're not just the crew of a ship now, we're the beginning of something new." The others nodded. Outside, the stars kept moving, and the Valiant waited not alone this time, but as part of something greater. The signal had reached Earth, and Earth had answered. The Valiant stood in the middle of space like a lighthouse in the dark. Its surface still showed the damage from the last battle, but its core was strong again. Inside, lights glowed steadily, systems hummed with energy, and deep in its heart, hope burned brighter than ever. Kira paced across the bridge, watching new dots appear on the main screen. One after another, human ships jumped in, some large, some small, all answering the call. She could hardly believe it. What started as a whisper from an old warship had become a fleet. "They're docking now," Blink said, checking the system logs. Cargo ships, shuttles, even old patrol boats. Thren grinned. "Look at that one. It's a mining tug with guns welded on." Jox laughed. "That's the human way. Fix what's broken. Fight with what you've got." But the moment of joy didn't last long. Viel's voice cut through the air, sharp and cold. Multiple warp signatures detected. Significant. Everyone froze. "How many?" Kira asked. Val replied, 41 ships, including 2 dreadnoughts." Jock swore under his breath. "They're bringing everything." Kira's voice stayed calm. "They want to end this before we grow stronger," Val began. "Activating defense systems, shields charged, main weapons online. Automated turrets active." Kira turned to the crew, her eyes serious. "This is the moment," she said. "We either prove we deserve a place in the galaxy, or we vanish again. Let's show them who we are outside." The Coalition fleet appeared like thunderclouds in space. Their ships were sharp, fast, and built for one purpose: war at the front. Commander Rill stood in the command center of his dreadnought, his eyes locked on the Valiant's glowing frame. "Fire when ready," he said. The first wave came fast. Missiles streaked through the void. Plasma beams lit up the dark. The Valiant shook under the hits, shields flaring bright, but she held. Kira barked orders. "Target the lead cruiser. Disable engines," Jox replied. "Firing now." The old cannons roared, punching through enemy shields like paper. One cruiser spun out of control, exploding in silence, but more kept coming. Human support ships joined the fight, small and weak, but brave. They flew together, shielding each other. Blink rerouted. "Power to the Valiant's main battery. Reactors overheating," he warned. "Keep it going," Kira said. "Just a little longer." Suddenly, one of the dreadnoughts charged forward. It was massive, a ship of pure destruction. Its weapons locked onto the Valiant's bridge. Val spoke. "Impact in 12 seconds." Kira stared at the screen, her jaw tight. Then a bright flash came from the left. Another ship, not human. A large alien battleship dove between the dreadnought and the Valiant. Taking the full blast, it spun out, engines failing, but it had saved them. Everyone looked at the screen in shock. "Who was that?" Jox asked. Val answered, "Unknown. Species, not hostile. Message incoming." The screen flickered to life, showing a tall alien with golden eyes. "We were once protected by humans. Long ago," he said. "Now we return the favor." More alien ships jumped in, smaller fleets from planets where humans had once helped during past wars. Now they came to stand beside the Valiant. The battle changed in seconds. Together, they pushed back. Coalition ships broke formation, surprised by the unity. One by one, their vessels fell or fled. Rill's dreadnought was the last to leave. Engines damaged, pride shattered. The battle ended. Silence returned. The Valiant floated among friends, surrounded by ships of many kinds. Kira sat down slowly, her heart still racing. "We made it," she whispered. Val responded. "Human defense successful. Total losses low." Thren laughed softly. "I think we just started something big," Jox nodded. "Bigger than any war," Blink smiled. "Bigger than just humans." Kira looked at the screen again. It now showed hundreds of ships, human and alien. Together, they had fought side by side, not because they were the same, but because they believed in something better. Val spoke once more, its voice calm and clear. "The Valiant is no longer hidden. The galaxy has seen." Kira stood, looking out the wide bridge window. She saw stars, ships, and light. But more than anything, she saw the future, not just for humans, but for everyone who dared to hope. "This wasn't our final stand," she said. "This was our first step."